What's up guys, Chad with Character Club. If you didn't watch the first video, behind me is my 2021 Forest River E-Pro. This is the 20 BHS, the bunkhouse camper. I got this last November. And in the last video, I upgraded the solar. So it comes factory with one solar panel, and I added two more for a total of just under 600 watts of solar, which is awesome. Bad part about this camper is it came with one single lead acid battery, a 75 amp hour cheapo. So when I got it, I immediately went and bought another battery that matched. And I don't plug in the camper at home. It stays disconnected, and my fridge is running 24/7. And I use the lights. I go in there and to clean it. But when we actually use the camper and go on trips, I found that if I'm not plugged in, I can barely get through the night because of the batteries. So the batteries are the weak spot. So today's video, I'm replacing the lead acid batteries with a single 200 amp hour lithium battery. And then I also found out after the fact that I need to upgrade the AC to DC converter, which charges the lithium battery when you're plugged into shore power. So when I'm all said and done, I'll have the solar upgrade, battery upgrade, and then the electrical upgrade, and this thing should be ready to rock and be a complete off-grid solution. You can't run the AC, can't run the microwave, but I didn't get this for that purpose. The main goal is to just be able to boondock camp at campsites, national parks, where there's no hookups, where we can actually just go and camp and have plenty of power, the fridge running, and not worry about it. So that's the whole reason for this. Thanks for watching if you're still here, and let's get to the build. This is the battery I found on Amazon. That is the only battery that fits the battery compartment. So eventually I might upgrade, but honestly I think it's probably going to stay here for a while. So I didn't really want to go too crazy, so that battery is going to replace two batteries inside there. This is a 200 amp hour, I guess the brand is Losagy on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description below. So you can see here, 200 amp hour, 14.6 volts, yada yada. And the main thing is that it fit that spot. So, all right, now coming over here. And actually, before we do that, let's take the propane out. Yeah, this is gonna make it a lot easier. Much easier to get to it now and see it. This was the original battery that it came with, and the original wiring, positive and ground. And what I did is I added the second battery, and because this was brand new when I got the camper, you're always supposed to match the same type and age battery. So they're both, they're within a month apart, which is good. And then I created a new, new cables, connected them together. It's been working great. But you can see here, that is going to work much better. All right, so let's take this apart, get to the install. The size of the nuts on the terminals are 13 mil, so I went and got that. A wrench or a regular socket would work, but one thing to note, you never want to torque down with one of these or you can break the studs, and ask me how I know. Actually, I'm gonna disconnect this one. So now we're disconnected from the system. Batteries are disconnected. Oh wow, look at that. Looks like the battery's already sulfating. Yep. Okay, so there's the two batteries. We're already having, they were already going, you can see. So I'm gonna clean that up. And what I got here is my shop scale. Looks like each battery is 44 pounds. Yep, 44.4 and 44.5 pounds. And let's weigh the new one. Awesome. Okay, so this battery, it's only 45.4 pounds. So this one battery weighs almost identical to each one of these. So I'm cutting out 45 pounds on tongue weight, and I'm increasing my capacity by over double, which is awesome. So now I'm gonna clean this and then throw that bad boy in there. Didn't think I was gonna need a leaf blower for an electrical install. Okay, so now that I got that cleaned up, I want to show you what I was talking about. So essentially it looks like these bolts, the heads of the bolts are a little higher than this piece here. So it's the previous batteries were touching that, and I guess that was causing the leakage. So yeah, what I'm thinking about doing is putting a couple pieces of starboard in the middle to raise the battery up just a bit so it's not touching. There's no way it'll touch. So yeah, let me get a couple pieces. So I found a piece of starboard that was left over from a drawer system project, and you can get starboard at some lumber places, and basically what it is a 1/4 inch, I believe it's HDPE plastic. You can correct me if I'm wrong, and then I'm just gonna lay it in there and hold it down with a 3M tape, and that should help it from sliding around. And then I'm also probably gonna put just a couple pieces of 3M tape on the bottom of the battery so that the battery doesn't slide around either. That was too long. And then this piece is small enough where it's not gonna block the holes, the drainage holes in the tray. Even though no water gets in there, it will still allow ventilation and water to escape if needed. And the birds are wild this morning. Okay, I'm gonna lay this in. You can see what I did. It just is gonna let the battery sit up a little higher, and then because it's plastic, it's no damage to the battery. There's no chance of it rotting, and it should work really well. Like I said, I'm gonna put a couple pieces of this under the battery, and it won't be permanent, but it'll just help the battery from sliding around. Okay, so we got 3 pieces of tape. This is taped down, so that's not going to move. And Now let's put the battery in. Perfect. No side-to-side play, and then I have the short wire. The cable is the positive, so I'm gonna do this orientation. I have plenty of room to get the negative over. This is great. Okay. Indeed. So again, we're not going to tighten with that power ratchet. Only loosen and lightly. Alright, moment of truth. Underneath here. Wait a minute. I guess it's negative, huh? That's good though, it's clearly marked. Looks great. What a fit, perfect fit. Okay, let's go inside, check things out. I'm doing an upgrade here too. Okay, battery is at 13.3 volts. We have 3.5 amps coming in, and it's currently set to flooded. So we need to change that to, obviously, lithium. So I'm going to go to the Go Power app, and then let's say we're going to go battery type. Oh, it's hard to do this. Battery type, which is Life PO, which is lithium. And we don't have an aux, but we're just going to put Life PO anyway. And go back. Amp hours, we need to change that to 200. Let's clear everything. So now we should be starting from a fresh start. And then next up is this. So currently it came with a WF8735P, and like I said, this technically would work. Everything's shut off right now, AC. Technically this would work, but from speaking to the company, and then also from what I've read online, is that this is not capable of charging all the way up to like 14.4 to 14.6 volts, which is what lithium batteries need. So lead acid and AGM pretty much stop at 13.6. So that's what would happen with this. It would just stop charging. So you never would get full with a lithium battery. So I got the exact same model, -LIS, I believe. So it should be a total plug and play. I'm gonna have to disconnect everything in the back, direct fit, and then I'll have the actual lithium version of this, and then I'll end up selling this on eBay or OfferUp or something. So that comes in. I don't know when that's coming in, hopefully in the next couple days, and then we'll install that and then be done with this whole part of the upgrade. And lastly, little update on what's going on here is I actually am going to be installing a flip-up counter, butcher block countertop, about 12 inches by 21 inches. The reason is this kitchen has zero counter space. If you're cooking, you can't use this. So this is your only counter space when you're cooking. So I'm gonna add about almost 2 square foot of counter space by doing that. But in order to do that, I have to relocate this, and that's why this is out. I was thinking about the battery shifting, and I didn't want the battery bouncing around inside the battery compartment. But you also it has to be able to breathe. Whatever you put in there, it can't rot, right? You can't just put plywood in there because it's gonna absorb the humidity, the water, anything else. So I got a last minute idea. So I took the box that it came with and found the styrofoam, and I cut up some pieces of styrofoam to fit. So the idea is that I'll put the styrofoam in, it'll help keep it from shifting. It won't absorb water, and it should insulate it a little bit and allow some airflow around the outside. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We'll throw this in and then close it up and be done with this part. So what I'm gonna do is on the sides, use just this one piece right here. The side, it's about 3/4 inch styrofoam. So it's a nice fit on the sides, and just enough to keep it from moving. And then on the ends, it's a bit thicker. So this gives me almost 2 inches, and I have about 2 1/4 on each side. So it's definitely going to help it from shifting while driving the vehicle. Actually, let's do it this way. That's better. So I need to cut off, I gotta trim the side pieces, just a hair. Alright, so I just trimmed about, I don't know, two inches or so off the side pieces. So those will fit. Now the end pieces, I wanted to go horizontally instead of vertically. So those now fit just like that. So all the way around. And remember, it's only a couple inches, so there's air all in between all sides. I just wanted to help keep it from moving. Tight. Nice and tight. Battery cover. Looks like it goes this way. Nice and solid. That's it. Looks exactly like it did before. Done on this part. All right, so I'm in the shade. Like I said, it's like 90 degrees right now. It's only 10 in the morning. So this part of the install is done. Old batteries are out, new batteries in. Didn't have to create any new wires. I used the factory cabling. I'm excited about that. I have the battery, so it's not going to be rocking around. And that's it. I'm just waiting for the new converter to come. As soon as that comes, that's the next part of this video. So stay tuned and we'll wrap this up pretty quick. All right, good morning guys. I was gonna skip to the next part of the video, but I had to throw this in there. It is the next day. I installed the battery yesterday. It is right now, I don't know if you can see that. It's 8 a.m. Well, 8:08 a.m. on Thursday. I did this yesterday. Apologize for the noise. We got the neighbors doing their lawn 8 in the morning. Awesome. Anyway, so I did exactly what I normally do with the RV. I leave the fan on speed 2 I come out at night, check things, close things up, turn the lights off, and the fridge runs, like I said, 24/7. So the fridge running all night, the fan running all night, which would I normally do, and generally with the other batteries, I was anywhere between 50 and 70% of the battery capacity. So almost, sometimes 50% of the battery was gone by the next morning just by having the fridge and the fan on. And I was like, man, I hope I at least have like 80%. And then I came in and this is what we got. 100%, and we're still at 3.3 volts, and that's where I was when I went to bed last night when I checked, and holy crap, that is awesome. Sun is just coming up, so I'm just getting 1 point, whatever volts, amps, sorry, and yeah, super pumped. Man, I would have been happy with 90%, but that is awesome. Obviously when you're camping, you're going to be plugging in devices. You're going to have multiple lights like I have on right now. You're going to have the fan set at high. So you're going to use some juice. Oh, plus when you're camping, you're going to be running the possibly the water pump. If you run out of propane, you'd have to use the electric water heater. I don't know if that'd work off a battery, but good to find out. If you put the awning in and out, if you put the slide in and out, if you use the power tongue jack, all that goes off of the battery. So super pumped. Good first test.